Welcome to the Liberace Mansion.
Welcome to Under the Vegas Sun, looking at the people, the events, and the news surrounding Las Vegas and the entire Vegas Valley. Hello, I'm Steve Schorr. We are live from the Liberace Mansion. Think back. You were 6, maybe 7 years old. What were the things that fascinated you back then? Was it maybe the music, or was it a toy, or was it something different? For a lot of young people, like myself, it was a deck of cards. Magic with a deck of cards. How did it all happen? How did those magicians make them disappear? It was not just that easy by going, they're gone. It was different. It was magic. On our program today, you'll meet a man who makes magic happen. In a moment, Jeff McBride. He's fascinating. You'll see. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I think like most people as we grew up, there was always a part of us that wanted to do a little bit of magic. Always wanted to be able to figure out how that coin could disappear or come out of your ear, or what you could do with cards and how they all made sense. That's where it normally ends. It ends when you're that child. For a lot of people, though, it becomes even more. It becomes a life. Our very special guest in the program is probably one of the more talented magicians, illusionist, you name it, he's there. His name is Jeff McBride. Welcome to our program.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. Excuse me. Oh, little occupational hazard there.
Yes. I can see where the show is going, folks.
Now, I make my living with a pack of cards. They've taken me around the world a couple of times.
So let me go back a little bit with you. As I mentioned, I think most young people, most children, had this fascination with magic. I remember I had an uncle that did magic, and he always made coins appear where they weren't. And I always wanted to figure out how. How do you bridge, I'm sure as a child you were into magic, how did you bridge that from being where you are today?
Well, most young kids get into magic, boys and girls around 7 years old. Something kicks in there. And it's about figuring out secrets, and it's also about being able to do something that no one else can do. And when you learn a little bit of magic, all of a sudden you stand out. Maybe you're not good at sports or you're not good in school, but if you can make the coin disappear, all of a sudden you have this kind of esoteric power to captivate people's interest. And when kids get into it, I got into it by just reading books in the library when I was about 8 years old, 7, 8 years old. And most kids do it into their teens, and then they leave. Then they get out of it because this thing called life comes along, and they have to go to school, they have to go to university, they get into a relationship, and then they get a job and job promotions, and 30 years goes by, and they wake up in midlife, and then they come back to magic. That's what I've discovered, that a lot of people get back into magic, after this first wave of their life. Because I run a magic school, and people come into the school because they had an interest in magic as a kid. Now, what separated me is I stuck with it. I didn't give it up. A lot of people give it up for life.
We've had a lot of people on the program, and one of the great people that I've had on the program is Terry Fader, who is a wonderful, wonderful star in Las Vegas. And I said to Terry, how did it come to him that being a ventriloquist, and that's basically what he is, although probably the most talented ventriloquist ever. How did that remain with him from childhood? He said it was always a part of who he was. Was magic always a part of who you were?
I think it was one of the first things I wanted to do, even before magic, was wear masks. And because I was frightened of monsters, and I would watch monster movies and get all terrified, and I figured, well, if I can't beat them, I'll join them. But I collected masks right around that age, and then I started magic, and then in my teens, I put the two together, the masks and the magic. And that's kind of my signature, is the magic with the masks and magic with sleight of hand. Interesting that many magicians, some top magicians, start as ventriloquists. Did you know David Copperfield started as a ventriloquist?
I know that.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Yeah, and so a lot of magicians, they'll either do juggling or ventriloquism or magic, and that's how they can stand out from the kids in school.
There is a fascination that the audience always has with magicians. I mean, there have been TV shows now on that try to break down what magicians are doing.
Well, like Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I happen to be one of the very few magicians that actually
they fooled him.
I fooled Penn and
I
Teller.
was watching the show when you did that. But there's a fascination with people wanting to see how it was done.
Right.
Whether they're sawing a woman in half or whatever they're doing. Tell me what the difference is.
I'm going to illustrate that for you. No, I'm going to
illustrate
it. No, I'm going to illustrate it.
Magic and illusion.
Well, there's two types of audiences. There's the types of audience that try to figure out the trick, and the type of audience that likes to sit back and enjoy the magic. When you try to figure out the trick, your brain gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And my job as a magician is to have all of those tensions just melt away.
Wait a minute.
Just like that.
Wait a minute.
So listen, this is Albert Einstein said the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. And Albert Einstein knew that magic wasn't just a puzzle to be figured out. Sometimes magic is just a mystery to be experienced. And I tell my audiences, don't try to figure out the tricks because your brain will get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, just like that. My job as a magician is to have you enter a magical realm where anything is possible. And when you do that, you can see magic in a whole new way.
No way.
Yes.
So now I'm sitting here watching you, and I would think my brain is saying, oh, he had those pieces in his hands beforehand. Now I'm this close to you. I didn't see anything in your hands.
No, and that's the thing about magic, is that even the best magicians in the world have techniques that fool magicians, and that's why we have shows like Penn and Teller's Fool Us. Because there is a fascination with the secret, but there's two ways you can enjoy magic. You can try to pick it apart, or you can sit back and really just enter the mystery. And my teacher, Eugene Berger, was a philosopher that wanted people to kind of turn off their analytical mind and just be able to experience the impossible instead of wrestling with I don't want to fight with the audience. And sometimes audiences kind of are fighting the magician instead of working with the magician. It's kind of like stopping a singer during a song.
Was the fascination, and did the fascination begin with Houdini? Did it begin there, or was it all the people that followed?
It was for me, it was reading books on the great masters from the golden age of magic in the early 1900s, the vaudeville magicians, and then magicians like Houdini and Thurston and Keller and the big stage illusionists. That was what influenced my generation of magicians. Today, people start with watching YouTube clips of magicians doing close-up magic. And it's amazing because with just a deck of cards, a young person can pick up a deck of cards, and if they practice, they can become internationally famous over YouTube these days. That took years and years ago. If you were trying to build a magic career, you had to have a stage show. And they'd say, what do you do that's big? Now everybody gets their magic on little YouTube clips.
Yeah. Are there different audiences for magic? You just returned from China. Very successful tour in China.
Yep.
Are the audiences different around the world in the way they look at magic? You don't have to speak English to enjoy a good magician.
No, magic is really an international language that transcends all cultural and language barriers, and magic has an extraordinarily wide demographic as well, because young people can enjoy magic, and people of all ages can enjoy magic because it's visual nature. It's captivating and visual. It's kind of like the circus in a way. It has a very wide demographic appeal. But yes, there are different audiences for magic all over the world. Some places you take out a deck of cards, you do magic, you can frighten people. I've had that before. I just, okay, I'll put the cards away because, they just, oh, no, Diablo, go away, It's like.
Who is your toughest audience?
Who's the
Are they children? Are they millennials? Are those over the age of 45? Who is your toughest audience?
Well, I think that changes country to country.
Really?
Yeah. I think in China, they engage magic very intellectually, and they're trying to, like, fight with the magic and trying to figure it out. Where in other places of the world, when I work in Europe, a lot of people are just, they're there to experience the immersive theater of magic. Instead of taking it as a puzzle, they take it more as an adventure, as a mind-expanding adventure. So different audiences. Even in Las Vegas, there's different audiences depending on the time of night. If you do an early show, you get a very attentive audience, and if you do a late show, you get a very wild kind of party audience that has a different kind of attention span and a different expectation of what they want to see.
Matter of fact, you do your own show.
Yep.
It's called Wonderground, and it's actually in 3 different pieces, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
You have an early show, a medium show, and the late show.
Yeah.
For those who really want to be immersed into this thing.
The Wonderground has 3 shows. Has an 8 o'clock stand-up comedy variety show, and then we'd have close-up magic that happens all over the club, so people can see the magic really close up and personal. And then we have a big stage extravaganza, and it happens once a month on the 3rd Thursdays. It's called Wonderground.
And the place called Olive?
Yeah, it's called the Olive Mediterranean, not to be confused with the Olive Garden.
Right.
It's the Olive Mediterranean. It's down on Sunset and Sand Hill, and you can get information by going to vegaswonderground.com. And the lineup changes every month. We have a completely different show every month. And a lot of the people that are performers on the Strip come down and hang out there too. Chris Angel's been down there, Teller's been down there, Mac King, Lance Burton, Chris Angel hangs out there on his night off. So it's a place, it's like a jazz club for magicians.
You have something else, and we're gonna take a break for a couple seconds. When we come back, I want to talk about this school that you have, this Magic and Mystery School, because my personal belief is that it's more than just magic and mystery. In a lot of ways, I have this sense that you teach life. I want to talk about that in a couple seconds. Don't go away, we'll be right back. I'm telling you, if you ever thought about magic, you're going to see some in a few minutes, and you're going to say, wow. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eamon Springall of Stitched at the Cosmopolitan, and you're watching Under the Vegas Sun with Steve Schorr.
Magician, illusionist, entertainer, teacher. A very special guest, Jeff McBride. Welcome back.
Yeah, and we're going to teach a little bit about teaching magic.
Okay, so you have a school. It's called McBride's Mystery, or Magic and Mystery School.
Very good.
But I sense, when looking at it, and looking at everything I've read about it, it really is more than just magic.
It's more than tricks.
It is more than tricks. In today's world, people have to learn how to deal, learn how to cope, learn how to be creative, learn how to be that different person from someone next to them. That's really what you're teaching, aren't you?
Well, magic teaches, we have all types of students from around the world. Most of our students are in their 30s and 40s and 50s. And they rekindle their passion in magic. We have a lot of young teenagers. Matt Franco started at our school when he was 12 years old.
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the youngest students we ever had. But there's kids that get into it and stay into it, like Matt Franco. And there's other people that get out and then back in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, they rekindle that passion. What young people get from magic is confidence, skill building, communication skills, problem solving. They use the techniques of magic as a way to engage their creativity and artistry. And magic helps people stand out, and there's a lot of life skills and presentation that young people can learn that will help them in any aspect of their lives. Older people that rekindle their passion for magic are looking to express themselves creatively, or they have expertise in a certain area and they do talks and presentations and they want to inject a little magic to wake up the talks that they're doing. Or a lot of very successful people study magic because they go to all these banquets and dinner and it's dreary, so they want to spice it up and they want to have some fun. And a lot of people do it because they want to go a second career. They want to retire from what they want to do. I've even had doctors retire from medicine
and go into magic.
And go into magic.
Really?
Absolutely. They said, I've had enough of the medical thing. I've done it for 40 years. I'm well off. I can retire. And I've had one dentist, Joel Zaritsky from back east, from Poughkeepsie, New York, came to some of my workshops and came to some of my classes, studied with our school for about 9 years. And he said, I am very proud that I can now say that I'm a full-time magician that does dentistry on the side.
Really?
Yes. That's a success for me.
Cards are a thing with you.
Yeah.
On our table, there's 3 decks of cards.
I go through a lot of decks of cards.
I could gather. Why cards? Why has that become so much a part of Jeff McBride?
Well, if you think about it, I've always, since I was a young man, 7, 8 years old, been fascinated with playing cards. Because if you think about it, fortunes have come and gone. Loves have been lost with the turn of a single playing card. And playing cards have always fascinated me, especially in this town. This town is built of playing cards.
Built on playing cards.
Right?
That's
I mean,
right.
yeah. And people have been using cards for gaming, but also they also use cards for fortune telling as well. And you can actually use cards as a weapon. I learned that from Ricky Jay years ago.
Are you going to throw things at me now?
No, I'm not going to throw. Let's see which is the good camera here. Right
That's
here?
your camera right there.
Yes, there, right ahead.
You caught it. As a matter of fact, you did.
Yeah. Right. So a number of years ago, I got the Guinness Book of World Records. I got into for card spinning.
Well, actually,
Faster.
you have.
I have about 3.
You're on the Guinness Book of World Records for 3 different categories.
Ooh, I'm nailing that camera good.
Right?
Yeah. Can
3
I get over
different
here?
categories.
Yeah. How about over here? Maybe this camera here. Let's see. Ooh,
Yes,
that's
you
a
got
good
it.
one. Yeah.
You got it.
I don't want to break the lens
I know.
here.
Don't break the lens, please. So,
I'm not done yet.
keep on going. Listen.
Okay, I'm
make
done.
yourself happy. So, what is your favorite card thing?
Card manipulation is what I do, and that a deck of cards is kind of like a magician's piano in a way. Here at the Liberace Mansion, you have a lot of pianos. And I have a lot of playing cards as well.
Yes, you do.
And interestingly enough, I was saying that people play with cards, but they also do divination and fortune telling with playing cards. And what's fascinating with playing cards is these are the great-great-grandchildren of the tarot cards. And although the pictures are different on the cards, the correspondences between a deck of playing cards and the tarot are astonishing.
But you also have to have manual dexterity in order to be able to do what you do with the playing card.
That's true. But interestingly enough, not all magic is sleight of hand. There are different types of magic. There's mentalism, mind-reading magic, which uses no dexterity at all. So there's all different types of magic, and great magic at all different skill levels. But it takes years and years and years to develop some of these techniques. Like I said, the cards, they have their story all their own. You say, why am I fascinated with playing cards? That that the deck of cards is like a calendar. Did you know this? 52 cards in the deck, like the 52 weeks of the year. 4 suits in a deck of cards, like the 4 seasons of the year. There are 13 cards in each suit, represent the 13 phases of the moon. And if you count the number of spots on all the cards, they number up to 364, plus the joker. They can be used as a solar calendar. So even though the cards look different, they harken back to the old Book of Thoth, which was a book of ancient wisdom. So each card is still a key that can unlock mysteries that are around us and within us.
All right, here you go again.
Well,
you eat a lot of cards, Jeff. So, I've watched individuals do tricks with cards. Let me pick my card, and you'll tell me what card it was. Is that magic or illusion?
Well, in magicians' terms, illusions, the term illusion is used most often for large-scale tricks, large-scale production, big boxes, floating ladies, elephants disappearing, Siegfried and Roy with the tigers and the lions.
But small illusion is fascinating.
Yeah, but it's sleight of hand, yes, and yes, people are more fascinated with close-up magic these days. Close-up magic.
Because they think they can see what you're doing.
Not only that, but it's reality being altered right under your nose. It's a little bit different when you see a magician way back on stage and you're far away, but it's a whole different experience when you're right up close and personal, you know? And it reminds people that reality is subject to change without notice. If you think about it, let me just get my cup here. Aha. Because we take things for granted, but even a cup is not a cup. This is a close-up illusion. And just when you think you have it, something else happens.
Okay, I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. There is a fascination that occurs when you're like me, somebody who is can't do things like this, in watching somebody who can do things like this.
Well, it reminds us all that reality is subject to change without notice.
See, now I'll take it differently.
Okay.
It reminds us that we were all a kid at one time.
Yes.
It reminds us that no matter how old we are, we can mentally go back to that same place.
Mm-hmm. And get that childlike sense of wonder. And that is what I'm trying to deal with. I'm trying to turn off the cynical, let's figure this out, let's rip up the you don't take apart a piano to listen to the music. No. You don't go, wait a minute, there's chords in here. It's trying to find the music in a piano by dismantling it is like looking at a magic performance and trying to pick it apart.
It's not the piano. It's the artist who sits there.
That's correct.
It's not the magic. It's the artist who makes it happen.
Well, and the interesting thing is, magicians that have been 50, 60 years in magic, and they know all the different types of magic. They know escape magic, they know stage illusion, close-up magic, mentalism. They know all the different forms of magic, and they've been they love magic more than a lay audience. They watch more magic, they read more magic, they perform more magic, and they love magic, even though they know the secrets. It's not like it's gone. The people that are more passionate about magic are the ones that understand it inside and out. It doesn't spoil it if you learn how the trick is done. It just gets you hooked. That's right. I remember talking to Lance Burton a number of years ago when those masked magicians.
One of the great magicians that hit the stage in Las Vegas.
Right. So all the magicians were up in arms over the masked magician. Valentino, the masked magician, had just exposed
everything.
All of this. And he goes, and everybody was like going crazy in the press and on TV, you know, shut down the show. And Lance goes, wow, I watched those shows. I learned a couple of really good tricks. But I can see a future master magician being interviewed on a show like this. And they'll say, how did you start your magic career now that you're a famous magician? And the magician would say, you know, I saw this television special, got me interested.
Jeff, I want to tell you, this has been the fastest half hour that I've ever gone through. It's absolutely delightful. I hope people will go see your show.
Mm-hmm. The Wonderground?
Wonderground is wonderful, but I think it's also important for people to understand that this is what life is all about in a very small way, because it gives us the joy that we all want inside.
Well, it reminds us that there is still magic in a high-tech world. There's still high-touch mysteries out there.
Jeff, thank you very much.
All right, great.
Absolutely delightful. We'll be right back with some closing words in a moment.
Hi, I'm Visha Calderon, an immigration attorney. Migrating to the United States legally can be tricky and costly. My firm offers fast, professional, and cost-efficient service for you and your family.
You know what I really love about Las Vegas is the variety of talent and entertainment that is really here. It makes Las Vegas indeed the entertainment capital of the world. In 1 week, on our show, you can see some of the greatest magicians in the world. On another show, as we've seen, amazing artistry and a man who plays a piano. It's all about entertainment. And Las Vegas is the center of it all. If you live here, go out and enjoy it. If you're coming here, make sure and see it. It is what this town is all about. Until the next time, I'm Steve Schorr. Be safe and enjoy life under the Vegas sun. The world of business today is ever-changing. What does it take to move that needle forward? Sometimes it's effective communication, or an extra voice to be heard, or maybe help in turning the right corner. At Consulting America, we provide all of that and more. Get an edge on the competition. Our team offers more than 100 years of business experience, all to help you. For more information, go to consultingamericanow.com or call us at 702-385-5739. Consulting America, developing innovative strategies today. Hello, I'm Steve Schorr. I've been proud to host the TV show Under the Vegas Sun. We've had mayors and entertainers and some of the true movers and shakers of Las Vegas. Well, we're growing again. We'll now be seen in 209 cities in America through our network, Walk TV, as well as in 6 foreign countries. And in Las Vegas, we'll also be seen 4 times each week on Cox Communications, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m., and now Sundays at 7 p.m. on channels 1096 and 96. I just wanted to say thank you.
This has been a presentation of VATV.